There you go. Can you
Can you
see me,
see?
Justin?
Oh
Lights.
my goodness. You're the man.
Oh no, you're the man. Oh
Get
my
it,
goodness.
bro. Oh my God.
Hey, well, at least this is a test run. We don't have half the company on with us, so.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, man. I appreciate you, um, big time. So how did you get it cut on?
I don't know. I just kept pushing buttons and finally it came on.
All right. Well,
Well, let's jam, bro. Let's jam.
we st- we
We're
got
still
some.
together, so let's jam.
All right. Well, we got some time here. Okay.
Gotta take a deep breath after that deal.
So we'll just hey, let's just go ahead in it, guys. One thing about technology isn't perfect, but it's definitely better. And we're gonna definitely start this thing off. Talk about better way to do things, a better industry, a better opportunity, and going from there. I'm Marquis Jones. I'm coming from my home office. My wife calls it our sitting room, but it is my office now. I'm here in Birmingham, Alabama, and the reason for this call, I invited everyone out on this call, on this webinar, on this webcast, on this Hangout, is just to share something with a very, very wonderful opportunity that I was able to become involved in after some intense research, after some doubts, really not knowing what was going on with the opportunity. And what had happened was it blew my mind once I found out what it was all about. Once I found out, became informed. I've been around the network marketing industry. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 plus years, well, part time. I was in automotive sales and finance industry for almost 18 years. And what happened was I had a lot of money. I made some decent money, but I had no time. I had no lifestyle. I was spending a lot more time with people at my job than I was at home. And in time, I was a long distance father, lost connection with my children, health got all bad, etc. And I knew it had to be something better, more than just money. I needed some time freedom and I needed some better health. I became into this industry. I loved it. It was pretty good, had some tremendous success, but it was just always something missing. And here comes the Modere opportunity. I won't go too much longer on my history. Mentor and a good friend of mine just asked me to take a look. And oh my goodness, I will say at first I didn't want to take a look. I thought it was everything else. I thought it was the same old, same old. But what ended up happening, this was nothing like anything else. This is not traditional network marketing. This is not what I thought it was. And this is something where, for one time, for the first time in my life, everyone could win. So, who I have online on this Hangout with me, I won't explain all the company. I'm still learning it. I'm getting it together. I'm so excited. It's called Ignorance on Fire. I might miss a lot of things. So, who better than to get the man himself, the person who's helped hold pretty much responsible for helping launch this social retail industry. He is a Modere, excuse me, partner, as well as a very, very good social marketer, a leader who's out here in the field really building this company up, helping us up. I have Mr. Justin Prince out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Justin, can you hear me?
I can hear you great, brother. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, that's awesome, awesome. You don't hear any feedback, do you?
I can hear a little bit, but not. It's nothing that's too bad.
Okay, great, great. What I want to do, because for the listeners, those who are on live with us now, and those who will be reviewing this recording in the future, give a little bit about your background, the history, why this industry, why Modere, and really a couple of questions I'm going to ask along the way. Things like, what is everyone missing? What do you see this company in the next several 5 to 6 to 8 years? What do you see the industry, as well as, a little bit about the leadership team aboard. So take off from there.
Yeah, so appreciate you having me on. It's always an honor to be on here with you. Really appreciate the great work that you're putting in out, moving people along on this path. So my background, I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, born and raised out here. I come from kind of a middle class background. I was flipping pizzas when I was 16. I was doing construction work for my dad when I was 18. And then I was introduced when I was in my early 20s to a multimedia company, learned how to sell. I worked primarily like in mall kiosks and so on. And then when I was 25, I was introduced to the network marketing profession or world. And all I knew about network marketing is I didn't want to know anything else. I was a total cynic. I was just a skeptic. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I didn't think it was a legitimate way to do business. When I got past my issues, my negative outlook on things, I fell in love with the profession. I became the #3 earner and the national spokesperson for my first company. Had a great experience there. Ended up that company went out of business, and I joined another large nutrition company over a period of time. Traveled the world with that business. Spoke literally everywhere from Moscow to LA and New York to Kazakhstan and darn near everywhere in between, and ended up with that business selling my position about 4 years ago. And the reason I sold is I didn't believe in the model anymore. I didn't believe in the profession. And what I mean by that is I didn't feel like we were fulfilling the promise of true residual income. You'd meet people that had been around and they would build this much of a business, 50,000 people here and then 10, 20,000 people there. But they weren't doing those businesses anymore. And I remember thinking, what's the problem? Why are people constantly having to move? And these weren't shady people. These are great people, well-intentioned people. And I thought they were forced to move because their businesses eroded from the bottom up. The attrition would kill their business from the bottom up. And the #1 reason for that is the model was based on distributors recruiting distributors who recruited distributors who recruited distributors who recruited distributors, and all of those distributors bought the product. They were the consumers of the product. And I have no problem with distributors buying product. In fact, I think distributors should buy product because I think it helps them to be more authentic as they talk to folks. But the problem is when the recruiting environment softened, which it softens for everybody, they go into kind of a stabilization phase. When that happens, you'll see these networks, the lowest guy can't recruit people. If he can't recruit people, he therefore can't make an income. The products are typically priced higher than you can find in retail. So the lowest person will stop ordering the products, which will unqualify the next person, which will unqualify the next person, then qualify the next person. You'll unqualify entire businesses starting from the bottom up. And so they'll erode. So people will go from that business to another business, and then from that business to another business. And I just didn't want to do that my whole life. So sold my position. I sold it at its peak. It was at its top level, and I sold it. And did private equity consulting for the next 2 years. And then we started a project that's actually turned into Modere. So Modere, we've been working on Modere for almost 2.5 years, if you can imagine. A lot of it was behind the scenes, getting it right, polishing it up. But we worked on Modere, and the Modere project was really kind of cool because we had a $300 million a year company that we were able to transform. And so I'll share with you just kind of this super short backstory. But a dear friend of mine, a guy who I respect immensely, named Robert Conley. He's been one of the top executives in the networking profession for the last 24 years. He's one of the top 4 executives for a corporation called New Skin Enterprises. He helped them to become a billion-dollar business, and then he was the CEO for another multi-hundred-million-dollar direct selling company.
Right.
He was approached by one of the largest private equity funds in the country. It's a fund out of Chicago that runs $1.7 billion in assets. So Mrs. Fields Cookies, TCBY Yogurt, Chevy's Tex-Mex. One of the businesses they owned was this $300 million a year network marketing company. They had some unique assets. One is they did $300 million a year in sales. They were 25 years old. They did had all their own infrastructure. They basically manufactured almost all their own products. And what was unique is that 99% of their revenue came from overseas markets. They were the 8th largest network in all of Japan, the 3rd largest network in all of Australia. And so we could actually use the U.S. to incubate an idea based on this current revenue. So we started working on this project. We had some of the smartest retail direct sales minds in the country, and then we also had some of the smartest retail minds. Our chief marketing officer, Bob Finnegan's, worked with brands Modere. So Modere, we've been working on Modere for almost 2.5 years, if you can imagine. A lot of it was behind the scenes, getting it right, polishing it up. But we worked on Modere, and the Modere project was really kind of cool because we had a $300 million a year company that we were able to transform. And so I'll share with you just kind of this super short backstory. But a dear friend of mine, a guy who I respect immensely, named Robert Conley. He's been one of the top executives in the networking profession for the last 24 years. He's one of the top 4 executives for a corporation called New Skin Enterprises. He helped them to become a billion-dollar business, and then he was the CEO for another multi-hundred-million-dollar direct selling company.
Right.
He was approached by one of the largest private equity funds in the country. It's a fund out of Chicago that runs $1.7 billion in assets. So Mrs. Fields Cookies, TCBY Yogurt, Chevy's Tex-Mex. One of the businesses they owned was this $300 million a year network marketing company. They had some unique assets. One is they did $300 million a year in sales. They were 25 years old. They did all of their own, had all their own infrastructure. They basically manufactured almost all their own products. And what was unique is that 99% of their revenue came from overseas markets. They were the 8th largest network in all of Japan, the 3rd largest network in all of Australia. And so we could actually use the U.S. to incubate an idea based on this current revenue. So we started working on this project. We had some of the smartest retail mind or direct sales minds in the country, and then we also had some of the smartest retail minds. Our chief marketing officer, Bob Finnegan's, worked with brands like Aeropostale and Gap and North Face and Chipotle and Sephora, Abercrombie and Fitch. Man, the list kind of goes on and on and on and on. Aeropostale. And so we had these really unique backgrounds, really smart people and really unique backgrounds. And so we all thought, we're going to do something together. Let's do something really big. So I'll give you just a quick premise of the idea. The idea is that the world's changing right now. The way people purchase and shop is forever changing. There's a massive shift that's happening in retail, and the shift is from physical to digital. And we're all, Marquise, we're all watching this happen, right? Like, we're all watching the rise of online shopping. But what's happening with online shopping is it's taking dollars away from stores, from physical shopping experiences. And when that's happening, it's creating the biggest economic shift that any of us will ever watch in our lifetime. And there's companies that are creating multi-hundred million dollar and multi-billion dollar businesses almost overnight, capitalizing on the shift. I'll give you an example. Uber, a lot of us watching right now are familiar with this taxi service, Uber. They're changing the way people experience cities. At their 4-year mark, they had an evaluation of $18.3 billion. Guess how many cars Uber owns? Zero.
Wow.
They do it all based on people driving their customers and their passengers around. Now check this out. This morning I was reading an article on Uber. Their 4-year mark, they were $18 billion. Guess what their valuation is on their last round of funding?
What's that?
$40 billion.
And how old are they?
40. They're about 5.5 years old.
Oh,
now here's the point. How did Uber grow? They grew by a 6-digit code. All of their customers. It's what's called a give-get model. They could, when I become a passenger with Uber, download the app. I get a 6-digit code. I can share that code with you, and you'll get a discount on your first ride with Uber, and I get a discount on my next ride with Uber. So it's what's called give-get. You can give benefit, get benefit. Well, they created, in this case, now a $40 billion a year business with that model. So our whole thing was, what if you could have a retail brand with products that every household in America uses every day, but the products had a real value prop, like families would actually want to buy them. Why? Because they were safe and non-toxic, they worked great, and they were affordable. And you could save people time. You could actually, like for example, with the Modere products, you can scan the back of the products, and they'll instantly ship to your house. You don't even have to, you can do all your shopping in 5 or 6 seconds. What if you could give people a better shopping experience, but then you could actually have a retail brand that's powered by people. All of your people could have these 6-digit codes that they could share with their friend. And with Modere, you give them you give a friend a $10 shopping credit to the site. When they shop, you get that customer attached to you for the rest of your life. So that was kind of where the idea was born, is this idea of creating a retail brand powered by people. Now we now call it social retail. So social retail is an idea of retail powered by people. We're the first social retail company in history. Okay. And when we first built this, I remember saying, I go, guys, when we pull this off, this will be the new model. This will be the model that everyone else will chase. And Marquise, it's so funny. These last 3 or 4 days, I've had 4 different companies. They're either, we had, one of them wants us to acquire them. So we had their founder team in our business. Okay. But then the other ones were executives or consultants for those companies. They sit with us and they say, hey man, in our boardroom, we've got all your guys' products. We're pulling up your website. We're trying to figure out your model because this is the new model. Social retail is, let me give you an example. Once Netflix hits, you don't shop at Blockbuster anymore.
No, sir.
Once Uber hits, you don't get a yellow taxi cab because it's just there's a better way to do it. Well, social retail is a better way to build a network. You know, those of us who come from the networking world, and it's also a better way to bring a brand to market because guess what retailers are struggling with? They're struggling getting access to us. Retailers have a hard time getting access to us because we're harder to get access to than we ever have in human history. I'll give you an example. When was the last time you watched TV with just one screen on? Now you got your phone open, you got your laptop open, you got your tablet open. We're hard to pay attention, right? We don't listen like we used to. And so what they need is they need the power of human connection, and we own that with this community of social marketers. So It's a really big idea. It's been a lot of fun. The company's growing like crazy right now. We're just about to launch Japan. I'm leaving there next week, and so it's been a lot of fun. So that gives you kind of a basic rundown of how it all started.
Okay, great, great, great. Fantastic. Well, let me ask you this here, because you put that out there on the model. Okay, well, people see that, they might try to go to the website, they may go look at a brief video and what have you. What are they missing? Because
Yeah.
I was missing a few
Yeah.
things, but I know what I was missing personally. But what are they missing with this opportunity, as it says? What is everyone missing?
So
If it's something.
look, as networkers, God bless us. We're some of the most amazing people on the planet. We're entrepreneurial to the core. We're some of the hardest working people on the planet. Direct sellers. I mean, you won't find a harder working group of folks. But we're so used to like a magic product, like a we have this one bottle of this or this one product or whatever. It's kind of our magic product. And what I'm going to share with you is that models are more powerful than products.
Okay.
What was Netflix's key product? Their key
Video.
product was a better way to shop. It's a better way to
Exactly.
consume entertainment, right? And so models are more powerful than products. So as networkers, what happens is like a networker will go to Modere.com and they'll look at the site and they'll be like, where's your comp plan? Where's your incentive trip? All this kind of stuff. Because they're not used to retail. But here's what I would share with you is that there's 330 million people in the U.S. and there's 16.2 million of those folks, basically 5% of those people that are in direct sales. What that means is 95% of the population is not in direct sales. And guess where all the volume lies? It lies with all the 95 percenters, right?
Right.
And so in networking, we have an inverse funnel. We have a funnel that looks like this. We try and get 4 or 5% of the population who are entrepreneurial, they're business-minded. We try and get them to come into our funnel. We took the funnel and went like this. We put 95% of the people can come in. You can find the 4%. You can find the 5%. So the idea is when people look at the site, what they're missing is the power of a retail brand powered by people. And once they get it, once it clicks, you can never go back. Because when you go to a network marketing website and you see the tab, they say home, products, opportunity, bro, you blow out 95% of the people right there. All of our messaging on most of our network marketing websites is for distributors. It's messaging saying our business is awesome and our products are good and you should distribute it. The reason we do that is that's where all of our volume comes from, is from distributors. And I remember when I was building my teams, I remember thinking, I don't want customers. Like, a customer? Are you crazy? Like, the last thing I want is to look at a customer because they didn't duplicate, they ask me stupid questions, I don't make very much money from them. In this business, guess where all the volume lies? I tell networkers, I say, what do you really want? What we really want is volume. And that's true of any business. If you're in the car business like you come from, if you're in the real estate, restaurants, guess what you want? A ton of revenue, a ton of volume. And what we, as networkers, we want to have volume and have it to stick, reoccurring volume. So the point I'm making is this, is if you want to build a massive network, you need to find a way to attract, retain, and grow customer volume. Because if you can attract, retain, and grow customers, you can build the biggest network in history because your distributors, in our case we call them social marketers, they can make a living without having to recruit people. And if you can make money without having to recruit people, you got the best recruiting story on the planet. Because you can go to your buddy and be like, yeah, I'm making 400, 500, 1,000 bucks a month, and your friend goes, but you haven't even tried to recruit me into this yet. You haven't tried to talk me into this. Then you got a great story because everyone wants to make a little bit of extra money. So that's the power of this. I think, again, sometimes I think people see just shampoo or they see just hand soap. And let me share this with you. Let me be fair. That's all I saw at first, too.
So
I remember when we were putting this together, I thought to myself, hand soap? Man, I'm not selling somebody hand soap. I could care less. Bob Finnegan, our retail genius guy that helped put this together, he said this to me, Marquise. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, 3 years ago, what was the 7th fastest privately held growing company in the U.S. 3 years ago? And I said, I don't know. What is it? He said, Method. Method hand soap. Method. Ask your wife. She buys Method hand soap from Target. And he said, they were the 7th fastest privately held growing company in the U.S. He said, would you want to build the 7th fastest privately held company in the U.S.? I said, of course I would. He said, then we should sell some hand soap. He said, it's one of 80 products that we sell. So what I'm saying is the business you want to be in is highly consumable products that every household in America uses every day, where it's replacement cost. Replacement cost means I'm not trying to get you to buy crap you've never heard of.
exactly.
I'm trying to get you to do a better way of what you're already doing. Netflix was a replacement. Uber is a replacement. It's a better way to do what you're already doing.
Wow, outstanding. Now, speaking about, products, that's something you had mentioned, not recruiting everybody, how they making money. How are we really obtaining customers? Because noticed with me coming aboard, I was always wondering, well, what's so big about the customers? Okay, it's a good soap, it's detergent, it's skincare, what have you. What's something unique that you're doing really to help retain customers that no other industry is doing? To get someone in, to really intrigue them, to get them to discover Modere.
So I'll share with you two quick things. I'll share with you some offline and some online. Well, I'll share with you three things real quick. First thing is this. We have this really powerful give-get model. And we're just in the infant stages of how powerful this give-get model is. So you come on as a customer, not even as a social marketer, but as a customer, your customer can refer Modere to their friend using a code. When their friend shops at Modere, their friend gets $10 off their first purchase, and your customer gets $10 towards their next purchase. So it's a really simple give-get model. So check this out. We had one of our social marketers. She was on the phone with Verizon. And the young lady that was helping with Verizon just did a great job. She answered all our questions, and she just did a really great job. And our social marketer said to her at the very end, she said, hey, let's say the girl's name was Becky. She said, hey, Becky, thank you so much for your help today. She said, hey, I'm helping to promote a new online retail brand called Modere. It's going to be one of the biggest brands in the country. And to give you a thank you, you have a pen and paper? She goes, yeah, of course. She goes, let me give you a code. Go to Modere.com and type in this code, and it will give you $10 off your first purchase.
Right.
You can go get anything you want, $10 off, and I'm going to give you this just as a gift. Bro, we're having that happen with restaurants. People say, what do you do for a living? And you say, I'm helping to launch a new retail brand called Modere. Have you ever heard of it? They say, no. You say, it's one of the hottest brands in the country. We love their products. Here's the thing. If you want, I'll give you a $10 discount, $10 promo code off your first order. We're having people do that all over the country all the time. Now, that's number one. Second thing is we have some really cool try before you buy models. So for our customers, we'll actually ship them what's called the beauty box. And it's 5 premium hair and skin products. It's $140 worth of product. We'll ship it to them for free. They can trial it for 7 days. So it's not a money-back guarantee. It's actually a trial, meaning they can, if they like it, they can keep it. If they don't, they can send it back. Once they trial it for 7 days, if they keep it, they get basically half off at $79. If they don't keep it, there's a risk-free shipping label. They stick it on and send it back. So it's a try before you buy. We've acquired thousands of customers on that model. And then the last thing I'll tell you is this: is we have what we call Modere Socials. What's happening right now in retail is you and I go to the store. We try on the jacket, we try on the hat, we try on the gloves, whatever it is, and guess where we buy it? We go home and we buy it either on our phone or we buy it online, right?
Exactly.
So retailers are becoming what's called showrooms. It's a touch, try, feel experience. So we've actually created what we call Modere Socials. We do them all over the country. People can actually go touch, try, and feel and experience the brand before they buy. What we know is this: when people try our products, we win. We win every time. So we've acquired literally thousands of customers from these social ideas. So let me share a quick stat with you I think is really powerful. Last year, in 2014, was our first year in business. We acquired tens and tens and tens of thousands of customers. It was an amazing first year.
Right.
Last month, which was February, which is the shortest month of the year, right? We had more customers who shared with a new customer. It was a purchasing new customer. So more customers shared last month than all of 2014 combined. So
wow.
The power of that. Now, again, if you're a networker, if you're even a business person, think of it this way: those are not salespeople. Those are customers getting you new customers. So a better way to say it is that's volume bringing you new volume, not your sales reps. That's just your actual customer base bringing you more volume. That's an amazing statistic, and that's just the beginning of where we're headed with social retail.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome right there. Now, speaking of networkers, we have that, the retail component, getting customers, they loving the products, to try it before you buy it. What makes this so unique with networkers? Why would networkers, okay, we can get us a good customer base, but what really makes this so powerful for networkers? And where do you see this, industry in about 6 to 8 years?
Okay, so great question. Here's what I'd share with you. As networkers, what we want is we want volume, and we want it sustainable volume, sustainable revenue, because that's how we create true residual income. There's 2 things that create residual income: customer orders and leadership, like competency through an organization.
Right.
And our a couple things I'd share with you. When you have access to 95% of the population in a really authentic, normal way, you
Right.
have 20 times more audience than you do as a networker. As a networker, we call our buddy who's in another company, yo, dude, you sick of that company? Come over to my company. And then he's trying to recruit us into his company. We're all talking to each other. It's like the same pool of networkers talking to each other. That's not where all the volume lies. The volume lies with us having access to real people. The other thing is this. If your people can make money without having to recruit, guess what that does? Is it makes people more sticky. They stay with you longer because they can make a dollar without getting blown out because they're not good recruiters. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing I tell you is this. We pay people to develop leaders in this company unlike anything I've ever seen. We have a check match apparatus that pays 10 to 22% of someone's monthly generational check. So here's what I mean by that. You'll see binaries. Binaries are the worst at this, by the way. But they'll say things like, we have a 50% check match. But then there's a little asterisk that says, up to $2,500. You know, there's these little caps that they'll put on each of the different levels.
Exactly.
This 10 to 22% is of the person's full generational unilevel check. So the point is, they're making a $50,000 a month residual. You make $11,000 a month match on just their one check, and we check match through all the leaders in that entire organization. So the ability for you to come in and build these massive businesses on customers, as well as build a massive team. So think of it this way: those of us who have built networks, think of the 500 people you had, or the 1,000, or 10,000, or 100,000, or 500,000 people who were in your group. Imagine if all of those people had 10, 20, 30, 40 customers each, and the customers didn't take up any levels. In other words, one of the reasons we don't like customers in networking is it pushes volume away from us. It like structure, like you have to place them on your left leg, or place them on your right leg, or place them somewhere in your group. We build what's called customer pods. So let me give you an example. This is so powerful. When networkers get this, their heads spin. When you put a customer into Modere.com, they use your code, they go shop. The company starts marketing to your customers with flash sales, limited time offers, promotions. Your customer will click it, they'll go to Facebook, and they'll see banner ads of Modere on the site on Facebook, and they're like, what the heck? Or they'll go back to some other shopping sites, and they'll see banner ads of Modere on their shopping sites. They're like, you guys, we actually can track them all over the internet, right?
Exactly.
Sophisticated technology stuff, really powerful stuff. So check this out. When that happens and they go purchase again, all their reorders are attached to you. We also get them to share with other customers. So I'll give you an example. I have a young lady on my second level. In networking, normally I would be paid on just her order. Whatever she orders each month, her personal consumption is what I would get paid on. Well, this lady has introduced about 150 customers to Modere.com. This happened in 2014. That 150 turned into over 500 because the company started marketing to those 150. Well, this lady is paid. Last year, she made $35,000. That was her 1099. Last year was $35,000.
Wow.
She's a full-time mom. She's a full-time esthetician. Has 3 kids. Guess how many people she recruited last year?
How many?
0. So she made 35 grand on customers. Now check this out. On my second level, I'm not just paid on her order. I'm paid on her order plus all 500 customer orders, all in level 2, all in that one position. So it would be like, in a normal network, it'd be like she's ordering 7,000 or more a month all by herself in the way we're used to it. But now, because I'm paid on her plus all of our customers, I'm paid on that entire organization of customers, that entire customer pod. So as networkers, again, we have access to 20 times the volume. We have real digital marketers, some of the best in the world, like our one of our head of digital marketing, Crystal Jennings, came from bodybuilding.com. Bodybuilding.com is the largest nutritional supplement reseller in the world.
Right.
She built their entire web, digital marketing platform. She works for Modere, does all this stuff where you bring a customer and her and her team start talking to them. Really powerful stuff behind the scenes.
Wow, that's beyond amazing because I was listening before I came aboard. I was talking to my mentor, a success team leader, one of the best in the business, over 20-year veteran, Mr. Tony Fleming, and he just plainly told me this is not network marketing. And when he said that, then it was backed up by another call by gentleman Brian Belleville saying this is not network marketing. Network marketing is just a division. And now I pretty much understand that, but can you touch on that? And before we go, can you really touch on the leadership of the company, how you have someone in the baby boom generation, Gen X, as well as millennial running at the helm, running the company? How does that affect us, and how do you see that affecting us in the future?
Yeah, so the first question was basically this idea of what makes it different and so on. What I would share with you is this. We took the best of social shopping. So let me give you just a quick story that will paint the picture of social shopping. 6 months before we started this, I'm sitting at lunch with a friend of mine. The kid's always dressed so sharp. Every time you see him, he looks like $1,000,000. And I said to him, I go, where do you get all your clothes, dude? And he goes, Nordstrom's Rack, and I'd heard of that before. And he said, Gilt.com. I'd never heard of Gilt. And I said, what's Gilt.com? And he looks at me like I'm an idiot, like I live in a cave. Now you understand, Marquise, I'm a pretty cool dude.
You all
Like
right?
I have a profile on the Facebook. I'm pretty hip. And so now, obviously, today you can see I'm a little tech savvy or tech incompetent with getting on this thing. But anyway, so I said, "What's Gilt.com?" He pulls his phone out, shows me this really beautiful app, and he sends me a text like this. He texts me over a link. I click on the link. Gilt gives me a shopping credit to their site and gives him a shopping credit for referring me. So anyway, I go get in my car, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, it should be that easy. I remember thinking, guess how many Super Saturdays Gilt.com sent him to? Zero. Like, he didn't need to be trained up on how to say that. He just naturally knew how to share that really cool site with me. So here's the point. 6 months later, I'm talking to Bob Finnegan, this retail genius, and he says, have you ever heard of Gilt.com? And I'm like, of course I've heard of Gilt, man. I mean, who hasn't? Because now I knew what it was. And he says, do you know how many customers they have? He said they're 6 years old. I said, I know my friend's a customer. I know I'm a customer. I said, maybe 30, 40,000. He said 6 million customers. He said, you know how much revenue they do a year? Because they're 6 years old. I said, how much? He said, $1 billion a year in revenue. Now, here's the point. Where did Gilt get those 6 million customers from? They got them from the other customers. They built this massive customer from customers telling customers telling customers. So I thought, what if you could take the best of social shopping and combine it with the best of of direct sales, which is people, the power of human connection? That would create a new world, a new space. Now, here's what I would share with you. If someone said, is an iPad the same as a laptop computer? You would authentically say, no, they're actually different. They're actually different devices. If they said, is an iPad the same as an iPhone? You would say, no, they're actually different devices. They're different spaces. When iPads were launched, they were called iPads. Now what's that industry called? It's called the tablet industry, the multi-billion-dollar industry. The point is it's a standalone industry, standalone from those other places. Social retail is not just a better MLM, and it's not just a better retail brand. It's actually the first gen of social retail. It's actually a new space. It's a new way to brand. It's a new way to market. It's a new way to shop. And so that's the first thing. And then the second question about the leadership. So when we first got together, it was myself, which is a Gen Y, I'm 34. Robert Conley, who's our CEO and chairman, he's probably in his late 40s. He's a Gen X, an amazing guy. And then one of our actual other partners in those early stages, a gentleman named Bob Goshen. Bob's a baby boomer. He's been in business for over 40 years. He brought a lot of wisdom and insights from his space. But running the company, it's interesting. I've never seen a movement so elastic. So you'll have 18-year-olds that think it's the hottest thing they've ever seen, and you have 80-year-olds that think it's the hottest thing they've ever seen. You'll have people from all different social economic backgrounds, all different parts of the country. It's really amazing. The brand is so elastic that all different people can relate to it, just regardless of kind of their background or their perspectives.
Yeah, I like that because I could say it. I determined it. My wife said it best. Once she saw the catalog, she didn't even open it. She said, "This is sexy."
That's right.
I'm like, wow, okay. And everyone we share with the catalog, share the catalog with, it's sexy. And then, hey, the products are top-notch, premium products. One of the first times she could use a skincare system that worked. And
That's
we
right.
tried a couple, especially from other companies, and I'm like beyond amazed. So she's happy. I'm happy that she's happy, and we're both happy that we're doing on this journey. You explained something in closing. I want to go over one more thing, really how simple you showed all these. Will a networker, what is the best way to share? Hey, we get paid over here, we get paid over here, we have check match, etc. Can you give some advice, or what does a company do that's so special to say, this is how you get money, this is how you earn money if you do this, instead of trying to explain all these different things with to pay?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we have a ton of videos and stuff that can help explain it, but the simple thing I tell you is this: is Modere was built. Modere means modern. Like the word Modere comes from modern, mode, and dare. So the idea is to create a modern life that's styled by Modere.
Okay.
And so basically a modern lifestyle, modern life that's styled by Modere. So we you can win what they call Modere experiences every 6 months for the rest of your life. A Modere experience is things like skydiving, a brand new custom suit. We partner with GoPro. We'll give you a brand new GoPro camera. You can jump out of an airplane. Partner with Not Standard. You get a brand new custom suit. Partner with Mary Maids. We'll have Mary Maids deep clean your house every month for the next 6 months. StitchFix.com for ladies. We'll give them a shopping spree at StitchFix.com. So we have VIP concert tickets, VIP sporting events. We partner with Uber, so Uber will pick you up and take you to the concert or take you to dinner and so on. There's really kind of cool lifestyle experiences that you can't get normally, right? We can win those every 6 months, and then we also win Modere Escapes. Modere Escapes we do every 6 months. We do these unbelievable 5-star trips all over the country. The next one we're going to is in Puerto Vallarta. We just got home from Cancun. Before that, we were in Dominican Republic. Now, the point I'm telling you is this. When you just join, we have what we call the 90-day path to escape. So it's real simple. What you do is you help people get on the path. They make $600 when they get on the path. Help them win the Modere experience. That's the custom suit or the skydiving. They can choose their experience. And then they help 3 people win the experience, and they win the trip. And then from there, I can show someone how to build a $1,000 a month or $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000 based on how many folks go on the trip with them. So it's a real simple model. You know, just this idea of getting on the path, winning an experience, winning the escape. And you can teach the entire compensation structure with just those 3 behaviors.
Wow. Well, that's awesome, because everyone we see it's a very good product, very good concept. Hey, it's a better way, better model, better experience. Well, in closing, I'll let you have the last words there. Can you just really, any last minute words, you have the floor, anything you want someone to know that we may not have discussed, or you want to rehash about this opportunity and what makes it one that they really, if anything, should try to really go forward, to really give Modere the opportunity to help them create not only a financial legacy for themselves, but for others and many generations to come.
Yeah, what I'd share with you is this, man. We have one shot in life to write a great story. We have one shot in life to write a great story. And are people going to know that you came this way? Like, are people going to know that you actually, most people leave the universe without a trace. They just lead lives of quiet desperation. And the people I really love and admire and respect are those dreamers. They're people who sit there and they have dreams and goals and aspiration to become somebody. Like they basically say, you just give me the shot. You give me the chance. You give me the opportunity. You give me the platform. And, you know, I'm a kid that came from making pizzas at age 16, lining a ditch with rocks for my dad's construction company at age 18, to, you know, basically 16 years later, I'm an equity partner and owner in a $300 million a year company. And I share that with you just to simply say this. All I had was ambition, I found good mentors, and I found opportunity. And there's people who will go on boats, they'll go under fences, they'll go in the middle of the night to find opportunity. And we have unlimited amounts of opportunity with what we're doing with Modere. So what I would share is this. If you have the ambition and you're looking for the mentors and you're looking for the opportunity, we are the right spot. You know, like, partner with us. Let's go do this together. We're going to go pioneer not just a new product line, not just a new company. We're literally going to go pioneer collectively as a team, literally a new industry. Like, how many people do you know in your phone? We know people who have launched products. They brought products in the market. Some of us know folks that actually have launched businesses. They've launched companies. That's a pretty rare group of people. How many people do you know in your contact list in your phone or in your circle of influence that have launched new industries? That's a pretty rare group. And I'm here to tell you that is a boundless opportunity. I think we have a multi-billion-dollar idea. I'll give you an example, Marquise, of what I'm talking about. Uber just had a $40 billion valuation as of today. Let me ask you this question. When was the last time you or your wife or, you know, people you can think of in your immediate influence took a cab ride of any sort? For some of us, it was maybe 3 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago or 2 months ago, that kind of thing, right? When was the last time anyone you know took a shower? I mean, hopefully it was this morning, right?
Exactly.
The point I'm saying is Uber built a $40 billion company with cool technology, with a give-get model, with things that we do every once in a while.
Right.
We have a cool technology, a big idea, a cool give-get model, and we do have products that every household in America uses every single day. It's a bigger idea than what Uber is. So it's a pretty exciting, you know, movement. So again, we need 3 things to be successful: ambition, a mentor, and opportunity. With Modere, you have the mentors, yourself included. You mentioned Mr. Tony Fleming. There's great mentors within this business. You've been doing
Exactly.
this for many, many years, and you know how it is. You pour into people.
Exactly.
You have the mentors, you have the opportunity. All you need is the ambition. Just that fire in your belly to say, I want to be somebody, I want to do something with my life, and I want people to know that I came this way and that I left a mark.
Oh
And we
yeah.
have one shot to write a great story, and I'd encourage you to write a great story with us.
Man, well, Justin, I really appreciate you on the behalf of the lead team, and our team and the company and as a whole, man. I really appreciate you investing this time with us. I know we had a few technical difficulties at first, but now we know. So next time when we get one done, it'll be just a little smoother
That's right.
before we can perfect it. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you this upcoming weekend here in in our general region. I appreciate you, man. God bless.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.